talk to me about what does Islam mean to you? What does it mean to be Muslim?
Islam is structure.
Okay.
That's what it meant for me in my life. That's when my life became structured. Only until I became Muslim did my life become structured. Now I understand what structure means. That now I have a better understanding what structure means, and now I know how to live my life in a proper manner, in a structured manner. So Islam was very important to me in that I'm using the word structures, but I didn't understand that word until recently. I've come to understand what structure really means and how you have a life composed of purpose and a life composed of doing things in an intelligent manner and, as I said, in a structured manner. So that's when, only until recently, I said recently, I'm speaking, that's relatively, because I'm an old man now. When I say recently, I'm not speaking of last month, I'm speaking of 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. That's what I mean when I say recent. But later on, after I became Muslim, then I moved to Chicago to work in our restaurant that we had there in the Nation of Islam called the Salam Restaurant. And I was working in some of the businesses there. And then after that, I got tired of Chicago because I didn't like the atmosphere in Chicago. So then I moved over here. We moved over here, me and my family, and we moved over here. And to make a long story short, that's when I met Imam Haqq. I didn't meet him until I moved over here. Even though we get along well enough, you would think that we've been friends all our life. And I may have known him because at one time I used to go to school over here. So I may have known him. I don't remember knowing him in school, but I may have met him because we went to the same school. There was only one African American school in town at that time.
What was the name of it?
St. Tammany Parish Colored Training School.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. See, when you speak like that, you're speaking as if you know what I'm going to say. It wasn't called St. Tammany Parish Color School. I only knew it as St. Tammany Parish School.
I delivered the mail there. All the mail was St. Tammany Parish Colored Training School.
Well, no, but it wasn't called that when I was going there.
That was a legal name.
Well, it may have been, but I was as young as I was.
St. Tammany High.
It was just St. Tammany High at that time. So there's some things that he and I conversed between, because he was born and raised here.
Mm-hmm.
I was only born, I say born here. I was born in New Orleans, and when I actually came back to Louisiana and started going to school over here, he had already had an understanding that he'd been raised in this environment. So some things he think I know what it is incomplete, but I don't. So anyway, after coming back from California and then being raised here and raised around my grandmother and grandfather in this natural world, and we lived in the woods at that time. We were really country people, but that actually saved my life because I was a wild child in California. So when I moved here, again, structure in my life amongst my grandmother and grandfather. structure again saved my life. So once I became Muslim in the Nation of Islam, it was more structure, more organization in my life that helped to save my life and helped me to think correctly. So now, the real progress that I was able to make in my life was because of structure. I said the Nation of Islam, and they introduced me to structure, and then by following that, I didn't realize it at that time that it was called structure, but I started to learn how to think. Because in this society, we have people around us, parents around us and relatives and so on and so forth, but we have not learned how to, at that time, we hadn't learned how to take advantage of being in an environment of relatives and kinfolks and things like that. We didn't know the value of that. We didn't know the value of each other. We would work against each other. So that's why the importance of me in understanding structure, that is what it offered to me. It offered to me, it presented to me a better way of living, and like what you were teaching in the lecture today about Ibrahim and his wife. Ibrahim, alayhi wasalam, started studying things, the sun, moon, and stars, and so on and so forth, and he became a thinker, and that he didn't like the idea of things, the sun setting and the stars setting, etc., so on and so forth. And he started saying, I don't like the things that set. So in a sense, that's what I started going through in my life. I didn't like the things that were not structured. I didn't like the things that lasted. So in my thinking like that, learning how to think like that, then that was how I became interested in Islam. Because my mind was changing, and as my mind changed, I started paying attention to life on a serious level, and the only thing that could help me think on a serious level was Islam. So that Islam offered to me structure in my life. That's why I became so serious. I used to not be as serious as I am right now. But in becoming involved with being around people and in a society of Muslims that was thinking in a structured manner, then I started learning how to think as if I was college educated. I'm not. But I started to learn how to think like that and how to use that way of thinking in my life. So this Al-Islam offered to me, it actually saved my life by teaching me how to think, helping me to understand how to structure things in my life. And I started to understand the importance of structure in my life, because I didn't go to formal school in reference to college, so I hadn't really learned how to think like that. So coming into Al-Islam under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he was a structured man. He taught us how to think on a structured manner, and that's when my life began to change. So that you see in me, whatever you see in me now that appears to be structured, it was due to the blessing of Al-Islam. So this thing in my life, I call it a thing, like I think the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam described the Quran as a thing, and that's why I use the term a thing. This thing in my life helped me to think. More important, how to live life and get the valuable thing, get the best from my life, and how to live my life in a structured manner. Then that's when I really became a real person, so to speak, because I was learning how to think. Before, I was just wandering around like everybody else, quote unquote, enjoying life like everybody else. But then as I begin to think better, it helps me to profit more out of life, to get more out of life in general. So now I'm more concentrated, and this has done me well. But I guess at a time, if I had met Brother Haqq, Imam Haqq, in an early period of my life, I don't know if we could have gotten along, because he's structured thinking, and I'm structured thinking. But I don't know if we could have got along, because it took a while before I became a structured thinker, and he was already a structured thinker. So